Good afternoon, folks. Yeah, sorry about that. I had a hot mic, and my middle son Jack just got back from school, and supposed to have hockey tonight. Said he had a headache. I said, hey, man, make sure you hydrate or take some aspirin or do both. So sorry about that. Usually don't have a hot mic. But welcome aboard, folks. A lot to talk about. It seems like I say that every time I throw out one of these, hey, let's do a Trading the Trump rally. This was especially for the folks from Investor Inspiration. I think I met you a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. I wanted to do a live trade brief, basically for you folks, but as usual, it seems like a lot of my normal members have snuck in. Give me an N in the chat box if you're new to Top Gun options or relatively new, so I know how much time to spend on our background before I move into the markets and a potential trade, and how you can potentially become a member. As you're typing, whether you're new or not, take a look at the handout section and make sure you download the trade plan PDF. Welcome aboard, John, Robert, Steve, Rebecca, Chuck. Okay, good. Mostly new. Oh, okay, great. So I got to the Investor Inspiration folks. I think there was over 1,000 of you that either registered or attended that event. So hopefully a lot of you are showing up here because you liked what I had to say and you're coming by to check out our squadron. Remember, down in the handouts on the bottom right of your screen in the handouts section, you should have a trade plan. I'm going to go through that. I would download that. That's worth the price of admission. I also gave you a $45 OPCL, Options Pocket Checklist, so I guess that's also worth the price of admission as well. All right, let's go ahead and press forward here as the room starts filling up, but I get started on time. First of all, who am I? Allow myself to introduce myself like Austin Powers. My name is Matthew Buckley, folks. My call sign is Wiz. And obviously my parents did like me, I hope. That's not my God-given name, but I earned that as a call sign flying the FA-18 Hornet for the United States Navy for about 15 years. I graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School, which many of you know as Top Gun, and I also flew 44 combat sorties over Iraq. Okay, how'd you go from the cockpit to the trading pit, man? Well, pretty easily. I knew growing up, since my earliest memories, I loved airplanes, I loved the ocean, just like a Reese's peanut butter cup, and I also was taught by my parents, one of 6 middle to lower class Irish Catholic families from South Jersey, South Philly, to service above self. So joined the Navy. But as I was growing up, my dad would be looking at the Wall Street Journal or the Atlantic City Press, and I'd always be like, hey, Dad, what's that page? It was the one with all the hieroglyphics on it, right? Stock prices. Remember back in the day, stock prices were in the newspaper? And he explained that to me. Hey, well, you had a Happy Meal the other day, right? Well, which was a treat. He said, well, that technically, if you owned shares of McDonald's, you could make money off of that. That's it. I was hooked. So I was always hooked in finance, even though I was out there on the tip of the spear. As soon as I became commissioned as an officer and got my first real paycheck in the business world, I bought an ETF through USAA. I think the commission was like $150. I'll never forget this. We're bitching about $4.95 commission now, but I never looked back. I started to apply everything that I was learning flying fighter aircraft, having a strategy, implementing tactics, contingency planning, thinking about what could go wrong, and thinking about it right now instead of freaking out when it does. Being disciplined, knowing when to get out of a good situation before it gets worse, knowing when to get out of a bad situation before you get killed. All of those things transferred to my trading incredibly well. Eventually, once I got off active duty and kept flying for the reserves, I became an executive level, C-level consultant. Started working with literally companies all over the world, from Bangkok to Japan to Brazil to Paris and all over the United States and Canada. Same type of thing, taking those qualities as a military officer and aviator and applying them to the business world. This is just a sampling of companies that I worked with over the years, and you might be sitting here going, okay, dude, looking at my watch, what's this have to do with trading? Take a look at the screen. Take a look at the companies and the industries that I currently work with or still work with. Hedge funds, Stevie Cohen's got a couple guys going to jail for access that I have to this type of information and knowledge. Now, for all the attorneys in the audience, I'm a fiduciary with my clients. I will never tell you what's going on in them, who I'm working with at the moment, nothing about that. And I obviously can't trade in these names for compliance reasons. But you know what that gives me? SA. Write those 2 words down. You should have a notepad right next to you. You're going to take a lot of notes today. Situational awareness. I know who's hiring. I know who's firing. I know who's acquiring. You're going to find out in a couple minutes I was one of the only financial folks in the financial space to nail what happened in the past 6 months. Nailed all of it. And our members are printing money because of it. I eventually popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage firms in the country called Peak 6 Investments, right there in the Chicago Board of Trade. Those big windows, you see the vertical windows? This is the intersection of Jackson and LaSalle, famous building, the Board of Trade. That was Peak 6 right there. And I was their chief strategy officer. Wow. Okay. Are you guys not seeing my slides? That was stupid. Now you are. Correct? Give me a thumbs up if you can see my slides. That was dumb. Good. That was stupid. Thanks for the heads up, John. That was the most boring intro, man. My apologies. I pressed share screen and I didn't click it. So that's me. Just so you get, put a name with the face. And that's what I said. Hey, my dad, read the newspaper, Navy guy. This is how I applied everything, flying fighters, and this is where we are right now. Was doing my speaking, my consulting. I wrote a book, From Sea Level to Sea Level. Pretty good title, if you ask me. I can send you a signed copy. And here's a screenshot of the companies I was saying I was working with. Biotech, financial, agriculture, healthcare, biotechs, autos. Pretty cool. Peak 6, Board of Trade, Peak 6, and a joke, insert joke here. Folks, literally coming from the Navy and never serving day one on Wall Street, popping up on the radar of a $2.5 billion vol arb firm and them going, hey, we like what you do, come do it with us. That's a pretty big compliment. No offense to anybody in this webinar who might be from Chicago. Great people, Chicago sucks. Oh, and I love people that are like, I love Chicago. Let me guess, you were there for a conference in May for the weekend. It was about 72 degrees and you had a great steak and a bottle of wine. Why, yes. Try it in February. Try walking from the Board of Trade to Union Station. It's a survival situation. So long story short, I decided to head down to South Florida here and start my own company 7 years ago. So that's my bio in the options world. I was also the founder and CEO of the Options News Network, ONN.TV. It was kind of it was the CNBC for options. Now they get John and Pete and they pay lip service to options, and Friday, great time slot. Friday after the market closes, let's put on a show called Options Action. Yeah, that really does well. But I helped retail traders, 80,000 of you. I went from me to 80,000 people and a $25 million company in a year. Okay, and like I said, instead of spending the rest of my life up in Chicago, I decided to head down to South Florida, down here to beautiful Boca Raton, where I'm also the squadron commander of a very cool squadron. Here we go. So let's get airborne. That's a quick background about me. Took a little longer than I wanted because I didn't have my slides up. So here we go. We're airborne. 2016 performance. Okay, I'll show you our year-to-date performance in the portfolios we're in, but let's just talk about how 2016 was our best year since getting airborne. And I'll tell you why it was the best year. So the model portfolios you're going to get access to at the end of this webinar are based on $100,000 model portfolios, okay? The primary live trade brief last year returned 125% on risk. Yeah, you should be given a golf clap right now, 188 grand. Now remember, return on risk is this. If I have a $100,000 portfolio, whiz ain't $100,000 invested. That's stupidity. At any given time, I'm only maybe 35 to 50 invested and the rest is in cash. So that's not at risk, right? What's at risk? The 35 to 50. So that's a 125% return on risk. The urgent alert and weekly options portfolio, 106% return, $1.21. And then here's my embarrassing portfolio. You ready? And I have to apologize before I show you this one. You ready? The accelerated retirement portfolio, a measly 101% return on risk for 100 grand. Give me a hell yeah, give me a show of hands if you wouldn't mind 100% return on risk in your retirement portfolio. Okay? Unbelievable. Ted, I appreciate that. Ted, did you email that to customer support? Okay? Rick, that is disappointing. Ted, yeah, or actually, I'll tell you what, Ted, let me get a screenshot of that. Thanks for the referral, Ted. I appreciate that. So, folks, we have one of our members in here actually saying, hey, you guys are so good. This is the, I'm sending a guy your way. So I will send that to her. Ted, thanks, Ted. See, it's so funny because I'm like, my members come to these because they know I'm going to put out a good trade. All right, so let's move. Before I go any further, though, I'm going to show you, and I have to tell you this, not only because I'm an honest guy, but this happens. We lose some battles. If you ever go to any of these and the guy sits there and talks about all of his winning trades and the guy's brilliant, you're an idiot if you join up for anything that guy's talking about. We're going to lose some battles, folks. We have losing trades. Matter of fact, we learn a hell of a lot from our losing trades. Our objective is to win the war. We're going to lose some battles. Losing trades happen. And I love channeling my inner Rumsfeld at this point. I thought the guy was a tool and he was an idiot. Nice job planning for the downfall of Saddam and disbanding the Republican Guard and the police force and letting Baghdad go to hell. I digress. He said correctly at one time, in combat, like in trading, there are known knowns. There are things we know we know. We know we have earnings come up. We know we have a dividend. We know X, Y, and Z. There are known unknowns. There are things we know we don't know. Okay? AIG. After the last earnings, everybody thought Ben Hancock was either going to quit, get reassigned, or something's going to happen. And today he quit or got booted. That was a known unknown. We knew it was going to happen, not when. And there are the unknown unknowns. Just things we don't know that we don't know. Here's an example of a weekly options trade I did on a Monday. Google L. Channeling for a nice long while, couple weeks. I'm like, I'm throwing on an iron condor here, guys. This one looks good. Literally, market closes. I head right down to the gym at 4 or 4:11 in the afternoon. I'm on the treadmill watching Comedy Central. Okay, and I love websites whose videos play autoplay. Thanks, Chase. But literally, I'm on the treadmill, and I watch Comedy Central. I call CNBC Comedy Central because of the entertainment value. Google announces its name change to Alphabet. Stock's up 5.2% after hours. I laugh. Now, some of you might be sitting there like, Wiz, you lost $5,000 on that trade. Yeah, I laughed. There's nothing you can do. I did. If I had known they were changing their name to Alphabet, which is so stupid, nobody calls them Alphabet. It's still Google. Either I would have been inside trading or I'd be in jail. Of course, I didn't know that was going to happen. But those things happen. If you do as much planning as possible before you trade and you get hit by that unknown missile that nobody, the CIA, the NSA, the guys on a carrier, your intel officer, nobody saw, then it was your day, okay? So losing trades happen. Perfect example. Even if a trade's about to lose, FXI, before Trump and China really started tweeting and doing a potential trade war a month or two again, in FXI, we had a good long call diagonal on. I'm like, guys, get out now. Once the smoke clears, we're firing broadsides here. Trump broadside to China. You're a currency manipulator. Trade war, here we go. Well, bring it, dude. Before that, those shots were fired. We got out of FXI, and now we got back into it. Okay, so it's better if we think we could potentially lose a battle. Let's bail out. And Greg made a nice $4,900 profit when I said to close. So here we go. Here's our methodology. I think there's a little camera on the top of your screen where you're looking at this slide. Take pictures. If you snap a picture, I think it goes to your desktop or to My Documents. It ends up on your computer. So take screenshots if you're not in a note-taking mood. Here's what I'm going to teach you today about our methodology. You're not going to be this after you join TGO, or maybe after you listen to me, but you need help doing it. The average retail trader is very tactical. You don't know what you're doing investing out to January 2019, let alone what you're doing for lunch tomorrow. Okay, you wake up, put your bunny slippers on, you grab your coffee, you turn on Comedy Central, and you go, wow, guy's got a pretty good looking suit, good hair, talking about Tesla, loves Tesla. I love Tesla now, and 2 weeks later you're broke because it was a stupid trade. That's dumb. Here's what we do at Top Gun Options. I'm going to give you a strategic brief. We have 4 live trade briefs a week, me and our vol arb trader, Doug Robertson. I give you a 15-minute strategic brief. What's going on around the globe? What's going on in China with their economy, their GDP, slowing demand? It's impacting oil. What's going on with them putting islands 600 miles away from China and saying, this is China, these are our airfields, and these are missiles, and if you cut between this island and mainland China, you're in our territorial water, and we're going to shoot you. That could turn into a shooting war. What's going on in Europe? Mario Draghi today. I think we're going to start taking the punch bowl away. What's going on in Russia? What's going on with oil? So political, economic, and military events. You have to know about this stuff, folks. Picture my live trade brief as you, as an admiral or general, sitting there in your air conditioning, end of the green table. You only have a glass of water, and I'm briefing you on this. Just sit there and puff your cigar and listen. Next, I'm going to get operational and talk about the United States, domestic economic and political events. For people, some people bail out of these early. They're like, oh, your politics are awful. I'm out of here. If I didn't trade my politics, I'd be broke, and I'd be an idiot. Since I've traded my politics, I'll show you TGO members with one trade on Goldman Sachs since the fall. A couple of my members are up $135, $150, $60, $90,000. One trade, folks. They traded my politics. They might not be right, but they're right as far as the market. So we're going to talk about what the Fed's doing, what earnings are doing, how's consumer confidence looking, jobs number on Friday. Everything operational for about 15 minutes. And then for the next hour of my live trade briefs, we get tactical and can trade. This ain't rocket surgery, folks. Strategic overview, global. How many of you would wake up and go, why are the futures down 1,000 points? What's this have to do with Greece? Why is my Apple down? Because Greece is getting kicked out of the Eurozone. Yeah, that's why it's down, and you didn't know that? We traded weekly options around the Greece crisis and made 35 grand. Oh my God, Greece's going to get booted out of the Eurozone. No, they're not, but the market implodes. Okay, sell. They're not going to get booted. They're going to agree to do everything. Hey, yay, market rallied, but they're not going to agree to do everything. That's a lie. Oh, boo. We traded the hell out of that. But you have to have the right strategic, operational, and tactical beliefs. Trading is a form of combat, folks, and I'm allowed to say that. And here's why I can say that. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose, man. What side do you want to be on? And wouldn't you want to use the same methodologies that I used to win in combat? Even if you used 1/10 of the intensity that I did, you're going to trade better than your neighbor. Got it? Here's the acronym you need to write down or listen to fear 2017. And here's how lazy I am. It was the same thing for 2016. I changed the 7 and added a couple sub acronyms. I'm not fearing 2017, but the way the letters worked out, this is the way it worked out. The T in to fear is this. I was the only financial training firm to predict this. Boom. You can go back to every recording. You can listen to the Wall Street Journal, the Fox people that have called me. I love to put myself in Jeffrey Gunlock's camp. $95 billion, he runs Double Line Capital. He said the same thing. The entire fall, when the mainstream media lied to your face, Clinton's up 15 points. Don't even go and vote, folks. It's over. I said they're wrong. I was the one that was out giving speeches around the United States. I was talking to frontline salespeople, to C-level executives. I was the one at cocktail parties, receptions afterwards, where people would lean into me nice and close and go, look to their left and look to the right and go, I'm voting for Trump. I'm like, why are you whispering? People were terrified. I knew Clinton was going to lose and that the polls were lies. Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Clinton wins, hands down. Trump wins, market's going down 5%. Goldman Sachs, folks, I said they're wrong. Not only does Trump win, the market goes up 5 to 10%. And we nailed it. I closed one of my trades right around the election for a $35,000 profit in 15 months. I'm doing better than that in a couple trades. This is an old slide. I will show you our Goldman Sachs trades that I told folks to put on in October and November that are up $135,000, folks. One trade. Now, I did 5 contracts or 10. They were doing 20. So my members might be doing one. I have a guy who's 1 contract since October. Wiz, I'm up 15 grand. Yay. 1 contract in Goldman Sachs. Nailed it. And I am going to do a victory lap, folks, because 99% of the mainstream media and the people in the financial world were wrong. We nailed it. And I nailed and those same idiots said what? Sell the inauguration. Everybody remember hearing that from the same idiots trying to talk this market down? I do. I said buy the inauguration. Oh, oil. The O into fear is oil. Here it comes, folks. For a while there, oil was on the back burner. Last December and January, anybody remember what the market was doing? We imploded because of what? Oil. Oil broke 30 during those times. Remember that? How many of you were looking at your, I don't know, Chipotle position and going, why is this thing imploding? Oil was driving the market like a wheelbarrow. Oil busted through 50, guys, in the first time in a long time, and it's going lower. Get ready for oil to rear its ugly head. The F into fear is the Fed. I've never seen in 26 years of doing this 100% certainty in the Fed funds futures rate, say that 10 times fast, of the rate increase. Next week, there is 100% certainty she raises 25 bips. I'm even hearing rustling in the trees like she might do more. Holy crap. Remember this whizzism. When interest rates are high, stocks will die. When interest rates are low, stocks will grow. That works, right? Interest rates have been low for years, near zero interest rate, right? Guess what? Now that we're starting to, if she gradually raises rates, which I think it will be gradually, that's a good thing, folks. Financials. The people are like, Wiz, that Goldman Sachs trade is great. It's beautiful for your current members. What about me? Get in it. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, they haven't even started to run yet. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. The financials. Goldman Sachs is my gold medal winner. JP Morgan is the silver. Morgan Stanley is the bronze. I don't trade Morgan Stanley anymore. There's the two you need to be in. Look at this slide. Let's see. Scott, 706%. Chuck, crushing it, 19 grand in 3 months. Diane, 36 grand. Harry, 60 grand. Goldman Sachs, 11 grand. 5 contracts, 40 grand. You ready for this? Look at Mike. This is the guy. This is an old slide. He eventually was up 135 grand. 111 grand on Goldman Sachs. 16 grand in 2 months. 6 grand, 1 contract. 20 contracts. Can you believe this? I just take screenshots of the people who type these in here. Okay? And here's the funny one, guys. I'm embarrassed about this. This is an old picture. I'm up 11 grand on this trade right now in Goldman Sachs. I didn't get into mine until December. So I'm recommending September, October, November, and I never wanted to pay full price for my Goldman Sachs muffler. And finally I broke down and did. And it's, oh, well, let me tell you exactly what it's at. Let's go over it. Here's a JP Morgan trade in the urgent alert profile. You ready? It's been on 8 months. 28,000, let me round up, 29 grand. Over a $3,000 a month return, and this is a Jan 18 trade, guys. It's got another year to work. This will be another $35,000, $40,000 trade. Here's the one that just got airborne 2 months ago on JP Morgan. This is a Jan 19 trade, $8,400. Yeah, and don't sit here and go, well, that's great. What about me? What about you? Get in them now, and I'll tell you how to. They still, folks, cutting Frankendodd. Steve Mnuchin's going to gut the financial regulations. Lowering corporate tax rates, that's going to go right to the bottom line. Companies like Apple, who have literally a pot of gold in County Cork, Ireland, their $250 quadrillion in cash that they have, they're allowed to bring home now with no tax consequences. What the hell do you think Apple's going to do with that? Buy back shares, hire people, come up with cooler products. Instead of just sitting there, that cash is going to do something. So less regulations, gutting corporate tax stuff, and rising interest rates. If you look up the definition of holy bullishness, Batman, for financials, it's those 3 things, guys. So the financials, look at my Goldman Sachs trade. So the 5 grand thing was wrong. That's how old that slide is. I'm up nearly $12,000 since December. December, January, February, half of March. 4 times 3 is what? 12. This trade is averaging 3 grand a month. The financials have room to run, guys, and you got to get on board. And yes, you can see gains like this. These are real. Those are real members, folks. The E into fear is Europe. The Brexit, old story. We made $22,000 trading vol around the Brexit. I got the Brexit wrong. I flipped a coin. The polls were too close. I really thought Obama flying over there like the week before the vote and poking them in the chest a little bit, like a jerk, like a bratty cousin to his uncle, going, yeah, you better vote to stay because I ain't got time to work on a separate deal with you. Who the hell are you talking to, man? That's family. I think that's why they ultimately voted to leave, was kind of a you-know-what to Obama. But we made, so I got the call wrong. I don't care. I made 22 grand on the vol trading trading vol around it. The uncertainty, volatility peaked, and then it sold off right afterwards. But Europe, the Brexit isn't an issue now. It's Mario Draghi taking away the punch bowl and more or less saying no more soup for you. The E in to fear also means earnings. We actually had a decent earnings period, folks. The wind is getting back in our sails. Look at the ADP jobs number, man. It was a blowout. Almost 300,000 jobs under Trump's first month in office. It's freaking awesome. The A in to fear is Asia. Unless you've lived under a rock, you know Asia is a big deal right now. Potential trade war with China, potential world war with China. North Korea lighting off bottle rockets into the Sea of Japan, into Japan's territorial water. If Cuba lit off some bottle rockets and 4 of them landed inside 12 miles of Key West, what the hell do you think we would do? It's an act of war. Japan is at DEFCON 1. And if any of you are a student of the 80s movies like I am, everybody remember the movie War Games? DEFCON 1 is the highest threat level the Japanese Defense Forces can be on, which means they have bombers that are airborne 24 hours a day right now, so they don't get hit on the ground. That's how bad it is in Asia right now. It ain't being reported because we got Russians and wiretapping and Obamacare. It is my job as a portfolio manager to keep an eye on crap like that so we don't wake up and the Korean Peninsula is under a mushroom cloud. And, you know, maybe our hedges will make some money, but that's the least of our worries because everybody's portfolio is going to be at zero. You have to know these things. And obviously Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get trading right now, I wear 2 suits at Top Gun Options. A $6,000 Armani suit, which is a joke. I don't even think I have a suit that fits, and a flight suit, meaning this. When it comes to a trade like Russia, I put my Armani Gordon Gekko suit on from Wall Street and go, I don't care. I don't care that the guy invaded Crimea, Ukraine, shot down an airliner. The guy does whatever he wants. You got to be bullish on a country and a dude that's going to do that. Then I put my flight suit on and it makes my skin crawl. Having a trade on like that, he's a little older than I am, but in the early 90s when I'm going through flight school and he was a KGB colonel, I was trained to kill him. Maybe I would have put a bomb through a window where that guy was. Mortal enemies. But at the end of the day, as a portfolio manager, it ain't, over a beer at our live event coming up in June. I can tell you how I feel about Russia personally and everything like that, or 20 beers. But at the end of the day, if our RSX, Romeo Sierra X-ray trade is making money, who cares? I call it a hold your nose trade. All right, everybody has the trade plan, right? Look in the handout section. You should have a PDF. It's a 1-pager. It's my trade plan down into a checklist format. So here we go. I'm going to go through it very quickly because I want to get in the market. So I hit a bunch of these slides. Let me unhide this one. I'm going to run through it. I'm not going to run through every step because that's why you're going to sign up, because you're going to learn how to employ this. Whenever I fly around the world or the States and people are like, oh, Wiz, I trade, and one of the things I hear all these pros say is you should have a trade plan. And I ask them for one and they go, yeah, and then they walk away because they don't have a good one. This one came from the military, the skies of Iraq, and the Board of Trade. It is worth its weight in gold. The 7-step trade plan starts with this. What is your strategic mindset? And here's what I mean by that. You can only have 4 of them. One of the 4. Bullish, self-explanatory. Bearish, duh. Volatile, meaning this thing's up 300, down 300, all over the place like we've seen 6 months ago. Or neutral. Remember December and January, folks? We moved literally sideways, pulled back a little during the holidays because one dude was trading on the floor, like 10 shares, and then level into the inauguration. So that's neutral. But you can also have variations of them. You ready for what I am right now? Cautiously bullish. And that ain't a politician speaking, that's an options trader. I am bullish. The market is going up, folks. There could not be better economic conditions to go up. World events, North Korea, Iran launching bottle rockets in the Strait of Hormuz, all the things that there is a black swan event out there that's going to bring us down. It ain't going to be economics, folks. It might be oil, or it might be the fact that we recognize that Trump's a lot of talk and he's not getting anything done. So right now, the cautiously part is a hedge, and we're going to put a hedge on today. Bullish, I have a lot of positions that are bullish. Cautiously means I need an ejection seat in my portfolio, okay? Step 2 is the target. Now that I know I'm cautiously bullish, the target is the stock, the ETF, or the index. Today, we're going to be looking at the S&P 500. I trade SPX over SPY for tax treatment. You can Google that, and in the Ready Room, I think we have a 20 reply thread going on about tax treatment of trading in an index versus an ETF. But my target today for your free trade is going to be SPX. Commit criteria. If you've been clubbing in the Bahamas for the past 31 seconds, mentally get back to me right now. I guarantee you don't do this or you don't have it. Take a look at the positions in your portfolio, and if you can't look at them individually and go 3 to 5 sentences immediately out of your mouth, why are you committing capital to this trade? Because I'll bump into people. Oh, you're a trader. I'm a trader. I'm an Apple, Wiz. I got this trade on. Why? I like Apple. Okay, that's dumb. Why? I have an iPhone. Okay, that's a little less dumb. If you don't have, I call it an elevator pitch. If you've ever been in sales, we get it in the elevator on the 30th floor. By the time we hit the lobby, I better look at you and go, oh my God, I'm an idiot if I'm not an Apple. What are your commit criteria? Why are you committing capital to this trade? I usually get an email after this, and some people are like, you know what, I went through my portfolio, and some of them I'm like, I stumbled to find a reason why I'm in this trade. 3 to 5 sentences. I believe that we have to put on a short-term hedge, maybe out about 3 months, because there is either going to be a black swan event, geopolitically or militarily, an oil event, or some other event that I cannot foresee that I have to hedge my portfolio. Done. And we're going to look at a trade. Tactic. Even if you don't learn anything from me today, which would be professionally embarrassing to me, you're never going to call an iron condor, a bull put spread, a bear call spread a strategy again. All right, Wiz, you had me for 31 minutes. Now you lost me. No, I didn't. What is a strategy, folks? I just showed you a pyramid. A strategy is high level. An option strategy is saving for college, saving for retirement, short-term income generation. I want to buy a boat by the summer, Wiz. Those are strategies. You know what tactics do? They support a strategy. That iron condor, the long call diagonals on Goldman Sachs that are up $135,000 for some of my traders. Those are tactics. The 135 grand guy's like, dude, you already paid for half my kid's college. You're welcome. And he's sending a nice 40th anniversary cab of Camus. I appreciate that. Tactical employment. If we are doing an iron condor, how are we going to employ it? Well, we're going to put the bear call spread on here, and this is the bull put spread. So we talk about the mechanics of the trade. And then these last 2 steps, the mid-course guidance, folks, I never closed my eyes after I dropped a bomb or placed a trade and went, oh man, I hope that hits where it's supposed to. I hope that hits bad guys. Or I closed my eyes and said, man, I hope this trade makes money. Hope ain't a strategy, man. That's stupid. So I give mid-course guidance. Hey, if this position starts going against us, here's what we're going to do and when. It starts moving against us, I have what I call adjust points. You're going to see it in one of my trades. If it drops in value to here, we got to think and scratch our head and go, should we adjust this trade right now? Roll it down, roll it out, roll it down and out. I'll go through all of that, and you get all of that as a member. And finally, the Colin Powell step, folks, the exit plan. When are we going to get out of this thing for max profit or min loss? A lot of you actually, you might think about the downside, like, oh, I should get out of this if I lose X amount, and you blow right through it. The sides of mountains, the bottom of the ocean is littered with jets and aviators' bodies who flew past their eject point. Look at the top left of this slide. Discipline, risk management result in superior execution. You start doing the, oh, I'm at my adjust or exit point, but Apple's coming back. Apple loves me. Apple doesn't care who you are, man, and it'll steamroll over your house, your wife, and your kids. Period. Do not trade emotionally. Like an aviator, you hit a certain point, I'm out. And you live to fight another day. Okay? So again, make sure you download the PDF in the handout section there, and we should be good to go. All right. Because at the end of the day, folks, we want to land and have a successful mission, right? Profitable trading. If we're not going to have a profitable trade for whatever reason, we want to be this guy. Yeah, his neck hurts, but he's alive. Okay, this Canadian F-18 pilot was practicing at an air show at 200 feet above the runway, slow airspeed. He was only doing 85 knots, folks. If you were in your car on the runway underneath him, you would have passed him. So he's at 85 knots. Nose is parked straight up at full power. All of a sudden, you see that left engine wide open, and this one, we call it puckered. Ain't no thrust in that one anymore. He took a bird or something, and that engine failed. He pulled the ejection handle just as they went past 90 degrees, as he went past 90 degrees angle of bank. They did the math, folks. If he had waited a half of me eye blink right there, he would have ejected into the ground. Let me ask you a question so I can take my sip of coffee. Let me ask you all a question. When did this flight captain make the decision to eject from this aircraft? When did he make that decision? Answer now. Go. Okay. When did he make the decision to pull the ejection handles on this aircraft? John, you got it right. Robert, you got it right. Dan, you got it right. Hal, now. Now, guys, the answer is in the brief. He sat there and briefed before he got airborne and said, because this is one of the most dangerous maneuvers, low altitude, slow airspeed. He knew before he got in the airplane that if he lost an engine that low and that slow, you got to get out of the airplane. Before sitting down, Rick, you got it. Jay, he made that decision in time. Exactly. What I'm getting at, folks, is you do not want to be halfway through the life of your trade and something bad happened and you go, holy crap, what should I be doing right now? If that's what you're doing, you're trading wrong. That ain't an arrogant statement. That is me going through stuff written in blood, folks. When the F-18 came off the flight line, the engineers, 1982, probably had an emergency procedure section that was 2 pages long. Today, it's about 90 pages. Why? It's written in blood. Somebody went out, did something, and they're like, wow, we didn't think the plane could do that. Let's write up procedures to avoid it. Don't make the same mistakes or people that went before you. Be disciplined, stick to the trade plan, get out, and live to fight another day. All right, done with the slides. 37 minutes. That was perfect. It's usually 35. Went on for an extra 2 minutes. We're on timeline. There's my literal cockpit, and now I'm going to take you to my trading cockpit, okay? Good looking airplane there. All right, here we go. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you how. I appreciate the people saying how do we get on board. Let me let me show you why you should be on board, and then we'll talk through some stuff. I'm gonna ripple real quick through my strategic brief because I want to get operational and look at a trade. But this stuff should be creeping you the hell out. China cut off their coal supply to North Korea as a little bit of a smack on the hand to their retarded cousin. And they fired more rockets. So now China is going to the United States like, hey man, we can usually sit on this guy. We're a little worried about him. I've seen reports that China's literally planning for this guy's downfall or a war and all the refugees they're going to have. So China, realizing that they're kind of losing power over a dude with some nuclear weapons, is coming to us saying, hey, why don't you stop putting missile batteries here and call off your annual exercises? We've been doing them every year since the end of the Korean War, but now China wants us to call them off. Stop poking this guy more. From Clinton to Bush to Obama, every time this dude has fired bottle rockets, he gets food, he gets money, and he says, okay, I'll stop doing bad things. And in the background, he keeps building bad things. He can kill people in Guam and Okinawa that are U.S. servicemen and family. If you're not paying attention to this, you're a fool, okay? This can only get worse. How's it going to get better? How do you negotiate with a madman? So, and I told you that Japan is at DEFCON 1. They're at Defense Condition 1, which means potential nuclear war, okay? That is bad. If you don't think that the Japanese being at like, we might be in a nuclear war in very soon, isn't potentially going to impact the market, you're not thinking strategically. Okay, operationally, and I talked about Mario Draghi today. The market pulled back a little bit today because Mario did say, I think we're done with the, he might start using the T word that we were used to 2-3 years ago, taper. He might be taking away the punch bowl. Remember, we had a little bit of taper tantrums. Remember that? If you're a TGO member, you remember the market's having taper tantrums, right? Okay, so the market, folks, and again, I will do stock chart. There it is. SPX, sorry, I closed that prematurely. All right, so again, victory lap. Right here, I was pounding. I even got feedback from customers like, hey, Wiz, you're all right? You're kind of off. I was off in the fall, folks, because it was so annoying. I couldn't even turn on the TV to listen to the idiots on CNBC CNN, she's up double digits. She's going to destroy it. And if he does win, the market's going to zero. They were you've been lied to, man. And you would have thought the mainstream media would have licked their wounds and gone, maybe we should get back to being journalists and actually reporting stuff. They didn't. They doubled down, and now they are the kind of the enemy of the state, to be honest with you. So everybody got this wrong but us. Whoop. We got all of this right. And then I said, buy the inauguration. Pop, well, Wiz, you're a little wrong. Folks, this was that stupid initial travel ban rollout. I said when this pulled back, I'm like, double down, man. That'll be gone in a week. This guy is one tweet away from some other major national story. And then we got Russia and all this other craziness. So delete, cut that out, and slide this over. So buy the inauguration was correct. And then I said, sell the State of the Union. Well, it looks like you were a little wrong there, Wiz. No, I wasn't. That's called a short squeeze. The guy got up, everybody was short going in the State of the Union because there's no way he was going to overperform. All he did was repeat everything he said he's going to do, but sounded a little more presidential. And then the market sold off. So we've nailed all of this. Here's what I'm worried about. First of all, the right side of the chart, the cautiously bullish means we're going up. Here's out in this white space out here is a couple things. This, Mitch McConnell. You know what? Throttle back there, everybody. Tax reform unlikely by August. He's looking at 2018. Folks, I voted for the guy. I'm a libertarian. Don't call me a Republican. Paul Ryan's an embarrassment. Mitch McConnell's disgusting. I'm not a Republican. I rip both parties apart. Give me my AR-15, my house on the beach, and my house in the mountains, and leave me alone, and I'll pay 15% of my income like everybody else should to keep highways and the Navy up and running. Other than that, leave me alone. 3 bathrooms. What are you, stupid? So if he doesn't start performing, guys, August 2018, ladies and gentlemen, this rally, this is, you want to talk about hope and change and not from Lando Calrissian in Cloud City, Obama. Here's the hope rally. Man, if he does everything he says he's going to do, this will be awesome. Now we're flat, waiting for the inauguration. A little bit more hope. Now we have to see it. Where is the tax reform? Where are the gutting of the financial regulations? Where are the repatriation of all this cash? That's what has me worried. When a Mitch McConnell gets up here and says, and of course I have Comedy Central in the background, Trump's agenda in jeopardy. Are you guys watching me right now? Folks, this is what has me worried. Once people wake up to the fact that this rally has been pulled forward by 3 months, we're going down. The other reason we might be going down. Yeah, here you go. Bad news for Wall Street. No tax reform until fiscal 2018. That's bad, man. Stocks fall amid weak commodities. You ready? Where's our oil? Talking about oil. Oil, folks. We are starting to get into that oil perfect storm. China economy slowing down a couple days ago with mixed macroeconomic data. Russia, oil production at record highs. Now, I was a political science major and a Navy fighter pilot, so that means I'm an idiot. Russia pumping like crazy. So is OPEC. They're not in OPEC, in case you didn't know. China slowing down economically. Okay, price of oil goes down. Hey, coin flip. Oil's going down, folks, and it could pull our market down. Okay, but here's some of the good. U.S. consumer comfort is at its highest level in a decade. I tell my members, whenever you see on the front page of the Wall Street Journal or Barron's or something that, like, here comes the retail trader, that means it's time to get out. Right about now, we're starting to get to this euphoria of mom and pop starting to go, I feel like I might be missing out on something. I'm going to maintain my longs, but we have got to hedge, and we're going to hedge today in a couple minutes. I love my longs. Our Jan 19 trades, Jan 18 trades are looking great. But folks, corporate insiders haven't been this uninterested in buying stocks since Ronald Reagan was president. Remember last earnings or 2 earnings? That's Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan. Trump's first call to be Treasury Secretary, literally like immediately. He said, nah, I don't make enough money and I might run for President, Donald. You got to be bullish on JP Morgan. You got to be bullish on Goldman Sachs, guys. 2 Goldman Sachs heavies are in his cabinet. 2 other Goldman Sachs heavies are senior advisors. Steve Mnuchin, which I have to disclose, I've had dinner with, my sister. I'm the underachiever of the Cap family. She runs Dune Capital Management. Kia Buckley Marakovitz is her name. She got Woman of the Year in New York City a couple years ago, and all these Goldman Sachs buddies I just rattled at were at that dinner, so I got to meet some of these guys. They wouldn't know me if I bumped into them, but I do have to disclose that. But the fact that you have 4 people in the cabinet that are Goldman Sachs peoples or senior advisors, do you think there's a Goldman Sachs put under that trade? But the fact that insiders are throttling back on their buying should make you a little nervous as well. Oil is so we have consumers. We got a great jobs report on Wednesday. Everybody knows the ADP number. I thought this was a mistake. Where is it? I was like, oh my God, 298,000. So what do you think the non-farm payroll tomorrow is going to be? Probably pretty smoking. I really don't care about non-farm payroll. I care about this. Average hourly earnings. We might be creating more jobs, but are they good jobs? And are they paying more? That's really the metric of success there. But obviously the highlight number here, it really doesn't mean anything anymore because she's already raising rates next week. If it's that much of a blowout, maybe they are going to sit here and go, wait, is she going to raise 50 bips or just, a little bit? Okay, guys, that was one of the quickest strategic, operational, and now we're going to get tactical and trade briefs. When we do it for real, when you sign up today for one of our full throttle tracks, it's like an 1.5 to 2 hour live trade brief, okay? Why is it that long too? Because I have to go over every position in my model portfolio, what the adjustments are, if I'd add a new one, loving our Apple positions, our Jan 80 calls, Jan 18 80 calls up 8 grand. Look at the Jan 19 position. I have a Jan 19 position, a long call diagonal with a protective put, that's up 10 grand on Apple. That's a Jan 19 trade, guys. You can get bullish, pick something that's up, that you like, that by Jan 19 is only going to keep getting better, okay? Love, love, love the positions in our portfolio, but enough. If you're on a day like today when the market's flat, this is a good-looking portfolio. I got greens and reds and some grays. If the market is having a rip-your-face-off rally or implosion and you're all green or all red, you're wrong. The trade I'm going to cover right now is a hedge, and I have to stop right here to make sure you understand this, and I get vertical head nods or I'm not going to move forward, okay? And I'm going to ask for vertical head nod. The trade I'm going to place, even though I use the word trade, it is a hedge. Here's the difference between a trade and a hedge. With a hedge, I don't care if I lose money. I will say that one more time, but slower. With a hedge, I don't care if I lose money. As a matter of fact, a hedge should lose money. Whoa, man, I never thought I'd go to a webinar where the dude doesn't mind losing money. Folks, I don't sit at this kitchen table in Boca and write a check each month to USAA and say, holy crap, I am losing money on my auto, home, and life. How stupid. USAA, cancel that. With my luck, a safe like Wile E. Coyote comes through the ceiling, it kills me and lights my house on fire. Matter of fact, it's on auto debit. I even forget I have insurance until you need it. That is what I mean by a hedge. Now, a trade. When I place a trade, those are trades. I do not have a hedge in this portfolio. That's why I'm doing one now, and you're getting to watch me in action. That's what you get to do here, TGO folks. You get to look over the shoulders of professional traders and watch what we're doing. What you do on your side with your bunny slippers on isn't our business. We're not financial advisors. We can't tell you what to do, and I never would. A financial advisor needs to sit down at lunch. You'll end up buying lunch, by the way. Learn everything about you, your risk, how much money you got, all that. I don't. I meet TGO folks out on the road when I give speeches and stuff. That's about as close as I can get. Here's my point. A trade, I better make money. That's my mission objective. A hedge is to help me sleep better at night. So don't look at this trade. And when you look at the metrics, you're going to understand why, like, oh, whoa, okay, that is a hedge. So here we go. Wiz, that's me. Hate people who talk in third terms. Third person. It's like Seinfeld. I am take this level right here. Actually, it's better on this chart. Options House is playing with their charts here. So right here, here's the, wow, that guy won, and if he does everything he says, this place is going to rock. December, January. We had to move sideways until what? We saw some action. This dude did more in the first 10 hours than Obama did in 8 years. Get over it if you don't believe that. He did. And people, Washington is stunned with the speed he is moving. He's a businessman, man. You lose money. Time is money. In the government, drag your freaking feet. Go to the DMV and see they don't get paid by, the person they help, okay? So this level, this 2300-ish level, to me is very interesting. If we don't hold this 2370, 2365 on the S&P, it's lookout below, okay? You see this? This is an orderly sell-off. This isn't panic. Look at this. Sell off, sell off. This one was in between Kwanzaa and New Year's, right? For my Kwanzaa celebrators. This was on 100 shares, guys. Nobody was trading. It was in between Christmas and New Year's, that dead week. Don't even call that a pullback. But this has been orderly. It's been an orderly step down to what? This level right here. So something's got to give. Wiz, you said you're cautiously bullish, which means I think we're going to keep going up if all of this stuff stays good. Oil implodes, bottle rockets go off, DEFCON 1, something goes bump in the night, we are going to rip your face off, implode. It will be such an excuse to get out or to take profits. Folks, retail traders, guys like me and the pros sit in the back of the movie theater, smoke our cigars, light the back seat on fire, and walk out. And then we'll peek back in and go, fire, and you all stampede each other to death, but it's too late. We already took all the profits. So what I want to do right now, I'm kind of muddling through my step 1 and step 2. There's my strategic mindset and my commit criteria. We're targeting SPX. I want to go out in my time machine. I'm going to go out about 3 months, guys. Why? Because why? Something is going to happen. If something, I'm not Nostradamus, my call sign's Wiz. If something is going to happen, it's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 months. That can be bad. That can bring this market down. May. I wanted to go out to May. Okay? Not March. So what is it, Wiz? Well, I just rippled off all the reasons this market could roll over. I'm not going to do it again. Let's take a look at that 2300 level. Why also 2300? First of all, I said technically. I drew that line and it's right around there. That would be a potential pullback 2 point. And let's assess what's going on. The other reason is the market's like what? Round numbers. There's a great report on Schaefer's a year ago about how these round numbers, 2300, markets get pulled up to them. It goes through a little bit, and they kind of wallow around round numbers until they either get pulled up or go back down to the next round number. Since I'm talking about a hedge, I'm probably talking about potentially being down. Now, I'm going to create a spread, and for those of you that are new to TGO, this won't seem crazy, but for all my members who snuck in today, you're going to pass out because I'm putting on a debit spread, a hedge, all the way out to May. Well, why is that weird, Wiz? You sound pretty smart to me. Because I hate debit spreads. The name implies grossness, debit. I like being the house, man. I like selling stuff. I like selling credit spreads. I love theta. I love time decay. But right now, for probably the second or third time in my career, you're seeing me implementing a tactic that I despise. But it's going to help me sleep better at night. I'm certainly not going to put on a bear call spread on the S&P 500 when Trump comes out with another Make America Great Again. I just made 18,000 jobs in Poughkeepsie, and we just keep doing this melt up. David Tepper was on CNBC today. He's like, you can't short this market, man. It's stupid. With all of that, now you can pick yourself up, if you're a TGO member, off the floor with Wiz doing a debit spread. It just makes sense, guys. So here's what I'm going to do. I love trading with, just in all disclosure, I helped build Options House. I actually helped pick the name in the brainstorming session that I ran. I think I did 50 earlier. So here I'm going to talk through the trade. Now we're getting into step 4, the tactical employment, right? Here's how we're going to put the legs on. And so I'm going to buy 50. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where did the 50 come from? Give me 2 minutes. I'm going to buy 50 of the May. Why all the way out to May? I think I've explained that enough. 2,300 puts. Why 2,300? I've answered it. What if you're wrong, Wiz? Well, let's finance the buying of these puts with selling some downside puts. The 22.95s for $1. Okay? Now, I took a screenshot of this earlier because I sent this trade out as an urgent alert to my members. and I'll show it to you on the member page. So, but usually during a live trade brief, I'd stop right now and take a screenshot of this. I didn't have to. I already did this trade. So I'm going to click create order, and I'm going to go, you're never going to get filled at mid-market. You're going to have to come somewhere between the mid and the ask, okay? Where? I don't know, walk it up. I use the Starbucks rule. I'll walk it up 5 cents. Go get a Starbucks. 20 minutes later, after I talk to a bunch of strangers and creep them out, I come back home. Okay, still didn't get filled. Go up a nickel. If you come in at the ask, there's a big flashing red light on the floor that is the idiot light. And it's like piranha. You will get filled before you even push the button if you're that dumb. And you will start in the hole $1,000. Don't ever come in at the ask. I know a lot of market makers, they print money. They don't need more money from you. Stop it. Each market maker has a proprietary algorithm that says, okay, that price right there hits it's okay. Walk it up to that, man. Otherwise, you're losing money. I'll teach you about this. All right, real quick, here's the visual that you may enjoy or not enjoy. When I click this analyze button, I'm going to turn into a Catholic nun, unfortunately. And I'm going to have a ruler. Yes, I do have experience with this. When I click analyze, I'm going to tell you to look at one place and one place only. If you don't, I'm going to crack your knuckles. You ready? When I click analyze, look at max potential loss. Look at the sad face. Not mine, I'm smiling. Look at the sad face. Max potential loss is $5 grand. Okay, dude, I looked there first. Crack your knuckles. I want to make 20. Hey, folks, everybody slow down. First of all, I'm going to teach you that here at Top Gun Options, I have what we call SOPs, Standard Operating Procedures. One of my SOPs is I don't want to risk more than 5% of the model portfolio on any one trade. Okay, you said it was 100 grand, okay, $5 grand. Why? Because I want to live to fight another day. That's my rule. You might be, hey, Wiz, I don't want to risk more than 25 or 2.5%. Wiz, I know some of my guys are 20. I don't want to risk 20% of my portfolio. Okay. And there's another autoplay video. That's how the Hill makes money, auto-playing videos. Remind me not to use that website again. So I haven't seen a trade like this. To the penny, I nailed the $5 grand. That was pretty good. Now, if you're not okay with losing this, you have to ask yourself 2 questions. First of all, there's an 81% probability, 81% that we take this max loss. Okay? First of all, that's not going to happen. If I put this trade on and we just keep kind of going up, I'll probably roll this trade up or I'll close it. But right now, I am freaked out. And if I'm freaked out, who's been Mr. Bull and right with all of this, if I'm the pilot of our airliner and I'm a little nervous about the chop and the turbulence, you should. When I travel with my kids, they all look at me. I'm like, it's nothing. I'm like, yeah. When I get nervous, you get nervous. But this also means there's a 20% probability of what? Max profit. This is using current at-the-money volatility, folks. If tomorrow North Korea, instead of landing 4 bottle rockets in the Sea of Japan, lands them on Japan, what the hell do you think is going to happen to the S&P 500? I guarantee you it says an 80% probability of max profit and 20 of max loss. This is why I hate debit spreads. This is a little bit of a lottery ticket, but this is also a hedge, and I'm not going to say it again. If you don't, Wiz, love it, but this market's going up and it's never going down, then don't do this trade. If you can sleep better at night knowing that you are flying around without an ejection seat, God bless you. I never went down to maintenance control, and the chief gave me the book to the airplane with all the maintenance in there, and on the last page, literally, you signed your name, your rank, and the date. I own that airplane. I never went down there and the chief said, hey, Lieutenant Buckley, by the way, the ejection seat's taken out of this airplane. You cool with it? What are you, stupid? If you are trading this market without this type of ejection seat, I am going to say you're a fool. Cruiser, I already answered that. Why not a bear call spread? I told you. David Tepper was on TV today. Paulson, who called the 2008 housing crisis. Nobody is shorting this market. Goldman Sachs, Citi, all these idiots that got all of this wrong are now saying, and they said sell the inaugural. They've gotten everything wrong, but even them right now is saying this market can't go any higher. But none of them are doing what, Cruiser? None of them are shorting it. So that tells me they don't have, I think we go up, guys. If I think we go up, Cruiser, why would I told you the only reason I'm just doing the debit spread is I'm cautiously bullish. The cautiously is taken care of with this hedge. Does everybody get that? That was pretty damn clear. That was good out of me. If I thought, Cruz, it's a good question, because if I thought we are rolling, this is it. I'm blowing the whistle, everybody out of the pool, we're going down. If I believe that, I would sell a bear call spread right here and use it to finance that debit spread. That tactic is called a bearish double vertical. When did I use bearish double verticals? Here and the Brexit, and they crush it. Different topic, I'll teach you how to do bearish trades. But with a bearish or bullish double vertical, you have to be three things. Really, really, really something. If I was really, really, really bearish, double vertical. Since I'm kind of cautiously bullish, debit spread. Give me a vertical head nod. That's a pretty damn good explanation if you ask me. So this is the trade that I would do today, folks. Hal, I wish I knew this before losing money. Hal, well, you're going to become a member here soon. Paul's a member. Great. Thanks, Paul. Yeah. We need to do this. Not we. I need to do this. If you're sitting here going, yeah, great stuff, I'm not wasting money on this, you won't be a good member here at TGO. I recommend you don't join up. If you don't at least get some of this and it's firing a couple synapses and you're smelling a little smoke, you probably won't fit in here, okay? We are printing money in our portfolios. Goldman Sachs trades. I showed you what our members' returns, man. It's incredible. So yeah, being long's great. You need this ejection seat, okay? I'll email this out to you. And oh, by the way, I'll put this replay up. Somebody asked 5 minutes ago, is this being recorded? Yes. And it's going to be on this page. So let me just, let me give you this, save it, because I will, you know what's on this page right now, guys? The urgent alert I sent out today to my members about this trade. So let me put this in the chat box. This is where the replay will be posted of this. But I'll tell my techie to also leave this replay up so you can watch both of them, okay? Oh, and the other one I wanted to do, guys, if you want to, every morning I do, or not morning, this is why you need to sign up for it. It's free. Every day I do a daily video called a sit rep. A sit rep in the military means a situation report. 15 to 20 minute video. Talk about some trades, talk about the market. It's 15 minutes. Just put your name and email. It's free. We push it out to you so you don't have to come to the website and go, wait, did Wiz put it out yet? I might do it pre-market. I might do it at lunch. I might do it at market close. I might do it at 10 o'clock when I'm watching the Flyers. I do it whenever I think I need to put out good intel. So here's the sit rep, and it's free. Or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I forgot to tell you guys about this earlier. So let me just put out some of these links, and then I'm going to take some of these questions because they're all really good questions. I didn't ignore you guys. I wanted to get through my content and my brief because it kind of staggers up the brief there. So I like this trade. And again, I don't want to lose $5,000. Who wants to lose it? But if this trade, for whatever reason, I wake up tomorrow and Christ came back to life, then don't give me that. Some lady yelled at me one time, he is alive, I'm out of here. I get it, man. I'm an Irish Catholic. It was a joke, meaning if Christ came back tomorrow and rang the opening bell and the Dow went up a quadrillion points, that's my point, man. Then I don't mind losing $5,000 because I didn't. All these other things are blinding Fukushima green. Does that make sense? When the market's having a rip your face off rally, you should have one position in there that's an ugly red, and I don't mind that red. That's the difference between a trade and a hedge. Now, if we wake up one day and Satan comes back to life, and Satan is alive, Wiz, got it, and the market implodes, you should have a lot of reds and one blinding green. But the markets don't go down forever. This is what, the 10th anniversary-ish of the implosion? Did the market go to zero? They were just showing since the bottom, we're up like 240. The S&P 500's up like 250% since we thought the world was ending. I was in the board of trade when the VIX was at 90, man. I remember that day. Oh my God, the world's ending, Wiz. No, it's not, man. The sun's going to rise tomorrow. So even if we make max profit on this 20 grand, some of you might be sitting there like, oh, all these will be red. You know what you do with the 20 grand that just fell into your lap? You get back into the ones that you love, man. That's the best. I call this a bilge pump. Any sailors here? The USS Top Options, if it takes a couple torpedoes, it might roll a little bit. We ain't sinking. I'm going to take the 20 grand that I made on this hedge and put it back into some Apple, some Russia, some Goldman, right? Vertical head nods. Thank you. I appreciate that. Best options brief I have had in 20 years. Thank you for inviting me. You're welcome for coming. All right, so now I'm going to tell you how you can get on board to what we do here at TGO. And I'll take questions at the end, guys. Let me just ripple through this, okay? Let me get out of all this stuff. I hate marketing, guys. Here's some of the stuff that I wanted to show you. Here's the one I really wanted to show you. David down here. I hate your politics, but love the way you print money. Thanks for your service. Best money I've spent so far in my trading career. David. Folks, I trade my politics, man. And if you don't like it, that's great. But look at these. Wiz was on the train when you asked. The Goldman Sachs update. 5 contracts, up 714%, 38 grand. John, I netted over 15 grand this month. What are some of these? The 111s, I showed you that one. Diane, 35 grand. 60 grand, 11.5. Jim Luther, I'm in accelerated retirement. Did Iron Condor around your SPX bull put spread, killing it, up 19,735 bucks, 83% harvested. Scott, only been a member 2 weeks, and I'm up 8,200 bucks in closed trades. Facebook, SPX, and Amazon following your trades, guys. So here's how you can get on board. I showed you, here's what I do. Monday afternoon, we do weekly options at 1 o'clock. It's quick, it's 30 minutes. Usually SPX, Apple, Facebook-ish type of trades. Tuesday mornings, I do a longer brief called the primary live trade brief. And the reason these look like skiing symbols, weekly options aren't hard. It's not like they're a black diamond out at Aspen, which I'll be at next week. It just means they're shorter time frame. So they're a little more sporty. Primary live trade brief, I just showed you that portfolio. I trade the front months, I have a hedge, and I trade the Jan 18, Jan 19s. AR, yeah, it looks like an easy run on the ski slope. It's accelerated retirement. Wednesdays at 1. Slow and steady wins the race, okay? And finally, I put out an urgent alert weekly. I usually do it on Thursday. Maybe it's Friday, okay? So that's what I do. Doug, who isn't here today, he's our vol arb trader. Every Thursday at 9, he does the advanced live trade brief, and he also sends out an advanced trade alert. Thursday's his day, is Doug's, okay? He also does a program called Wingman Group Coaching. It would be the next step in your training. Don't worry about it right now. We have a group that filled out applications, and I think we're full. Okay, good. So it's time for you to choose your track. If you're an aggressive type of trader right now, fangs out, I want to attack this market, Wiz, like weekly options, I got a track for you. More conservative. Hey, man, a little nervous right now, maybe not ready to trade weekly options, I get it. Or if you got both, hey Wiz, I want to do everything that you just talked about, all your portfolios, then choose your right track. I'm going to brief you on the offensive track, which means that's you, man. That's you and your F-18 gunning an Air Force F-22. Look at that, putting bullets in them, okay? If you're a little bit more conservative, you know what, Wiz, I don't like weekly options right now. I'd rather have everything you do plus accelerate retirement. I'll show you the defensive track. That'll be you guys looking out with that radar dome downrange out to Jan 19, looking at nice conservative trades. But if you want to be max afterburner, man, I'm going to take you there as well. Look at some of the weekly options recent trades in a day or two. 2,100 bucks, 975 bucks in a day. Wiz, the Oracle of Options. Thank you. $1,100 profit in 2 days. We got max afterburner. That's going to be you taking your trading to the next level. Okay. Now, for those of you who just said here, this is freaking awesome. I can't believe it's taken me this long to find you guys. I'm not making that up. That's usually what I hear a lot. Everybody works, guys. Okay, I speak. I do other stuff too. You don't have to attend the live trading sessions. This is recorded. Everything we do is recorded. I send out a text alert immediately. When I found that trade today, I copied the trade, copied and pasted into what we call a broadcaster, and I sent out a text alert. As soon as I press send, I pick up my cell phone and go, yep, it's working. We send out a text immediately in the trade briefs with new trades, closing trades, or adjustments. Then, after the session's over, I usually stretch my legs for 5 minutes, and I sit right back down, and I send out an email with a screenshot of the trades. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. And then after, it takes about an hour to render, about an hour and a half recording. And then finally, I put the replay on that page as well. So you get 3 things. Look at this guy. Wiz, I'm so geeked. Been a subscriber for almost 3 years now. And this is the first time I've been able to attend. I've only known you via replays. So you don't have to attend, folks. You can be sitting in Death My Meeting Monday at 1:30 when I'm doing the live trade brief. Zzz, there's a bull put spread on the S&P from Wiz. Folks, I can run Top Gun options from here. I do. I got my Options House platform on here. I got my broadcaster. So I've been in meetings, by the way, where I'm like, that looks pretty good. I'm actually going to send that out to my traders. So you don't have to attend live, okay? I'm also going to make an offer you can't refuse. I'm going to give you all of our proprietary materials, the primary, intermediate, advanced workbooks, and also, well, you got a copy of this already, the OPCL, the Options Pocket Checklist. Now you're going to get airborne, okay? Here's the URL you need to go to. And let me put it up here. FT-now or get FT. Here you go, folks. There are different options. You can do a monthly subscription, month to month, or you can do an annual subscription, which is a hell of a lot cheaper. Okay, so let me press send there. This is where you need to go to take a look at our different tracks. Let me review them real quick. Defensive. Okay, let me scroll down. Defensive, you get 8 sessions. 8 sessions of it, and it's on the page here, guys. 8 sessions of what, Wiz? The Greeks, Iron Condors, calendars. This is your flight school. Okay, 1.5 to 2 hour sessions on everything options. To all my Marine buddies out there that can't spell the word options, to my Jedi Masters trading butterfly twist with reverse calendars, I made that up. We'll make you better. So you get training. You get my PLTB, the urgent alert, all Doug stuff. But with the defensive track, you do the accelerated retirement. Wiz, I'm a little defensive right now. Offensive track. Everything I just talked about, but instead of AR, accelerated retirement, you do the weekly options. It's a Reese's peanut butter cup. You swap these out. Wiz, I want both. I like that retirement portfolio, and I want to stick my fangs out, and I want everything else you do. That's called Max Afterburner, and that's everything we do here, folks. And they're all at reduced prices. $19.95 for a year defensive, $24.95 offensive, or just under $3 for Max. And right underneath it, folks, you could do the monthly membership. Matter of fact, the last time I did this webinar, a month or 2 ago, we just had about 30 of you call up and say, got it, can I upgrade into an annual because I'm going to save some money. If you want to kick the tires, folks, yeah, you can upgrade into a annual whenever you want. Most people go with the annual right out of the gate because it saves them money, okay? But the monthly fee is right there, $195, $245, or $295, okay? What else is on this page? Our performance, what you get in the offensive track and defensive, which I just explained, but you can read it, the training program, and that's about it, folks. Annie Santos is our Director of Client Relations. If you have any questions, concerns, oh, by the ways, you can shoot her an email. Best to shoot an email because she gets a lot of phone calls. support@topgunoptions.com is her email address, or you can call 754-300-1084. So take a screenshot of this right now, folks, instead of scribbling that all down. I'll leave that up for a second. And then I'm going to answer questions because I know, let me make sure my phone buzzes. I set it to buzz with my hedge fund buddies. Any, okay, good. Awesome. Okay, screenshot complete. Grab your monthly or grab an annual. Obviously, the annual is a cheaper deal if you do the math, folks. Or you can always give us a call or give Annie a call. Okay. Yes, Steve, I answered that one. Yeah, if you start out with a monthly membership and 2-3 months from now you go, you know what, I want to upgrade, you can swap around here, guys. Yes, absolutely. Sure. I'll show you that trade again. Somebody's asking, oh, here's where I wanted to show it to you. Let me show you on the member page where the trade is. Let me show you exactly what it looks like, where you'd be going. Whoops. So, whoa, member content. This was under the urgent alert portfolio or service. So here's the trade. You ready? There it is. Urgent alert, 9 March, SPX bear put spread. So I took a screenshot. I have existing positions in the urgent alert portfolio, XLF, SPX, JP Morgan, China, and Disney. So I have adjustments to that. Here's the screenshot, right, of the trade. Here's the screenshot of the metrics. And here's the replay of the recording I did, guys. So as I was doing it, I sent out a text alert. Then I sat down and sent out this email so you have a visual of it. And then after an hour and a half later, I upload the replay of the session. This is awesome, folks. This is not just because I'm the commanding officer, folks. It is the best service out there. You know me, man. I do intelligence gathering. I go play Secret Shopper at other places. The reason TGO exists, and we've been in business 7 years, is first of all of our sterling reputation. There ain't no black or white, there ain't no gray, folks. It's only black or white, right or wrong. So people get a little jaded by my direct delivery. I don't have time, folks. You don't sit in the ready room of a fighter squadron and sing Kumbaya. This respect, we have what we call respectful truth over artificial harmony. We don't blow smoke, man. And if I make a mistake, have a bad trade or whatever, I will rip myself to shreds and get better. Yes, the link is right here. You can both links work. Whoever said get FT, get full throttle works as well. Go.topgunoptions.com/getft. Both of those work, folks, or FT-now. It's, I don't know, the techies track which URL works better. I don't. My eyes glaze over when they tell me that stuff, okay? So everybody see that link, right? Let me put it in here too. Well, yes, I do look at, one of the reasons I'm doing that trade is because I am looking at the VIX. Very good question. That was one of my altimeters. That's one of my instruments I looked at that said, you know what? This is nuts. Vol is too cheap right now, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. The heart rate monitor looks like we're dead. Look at this. Around the election, we were up in the low 20s. With everything that I'm briefing you on, from Trump wiretapping, Donald Trump accused the president before him of wiretapping him, which can carry a jail sentence, man. I supported Trump, but he's starting to sound like the captain on the Kane Mutiny, Captain Queeg. Yes, I'm old enough to know that movie. I watched it with my father a lot. There is something that's going to happen on the right side of this chart that's going to make vol go up. I'm telling you. No, I'm not Nostradamus. No, I can't tell you exactly what it's going to be, but it's going to be something. Okay? And with vol, write this down. When vol is cheap, you buy it. When it's expensive, you sell it. Vertical head nods? John, don't think you see the slides that you're referring to. I hope so. Brad, yes, absolutely, Brad. Can a small account, 8 to 10 grand? Of course. Now, Brad, what you'd have to do, just sign up for like the monthly offensive. It's a little small investment for a month, 195 bucks, man. It's a it's a nice bottle of wine out at a nice restaurant for potentially all the returns that I'm showing you that my members have. What you would do instead of trading 50 contracts or 15 like Wiz does, you trade one, you trade two. You have to come up with your own SOP, standard operating procedure, about how much you think you'd want to risk. So Brad, come up, if I had a $10,000 portfolio, I'd say I don't want to risk more than $1,000 on any one trade. So Wiz is doing 15 contracts and he's risking 5. Maybe I do 3. Okay, so Brad, I can tell you're probably a pretty smart guy. You're probably sitting there going, okay, that makes sense. Folks, some of those Goldman Sachs wins, the 135 grand guys, they did 20 contracts. I did 5 or 10. So people trade less, people trade more. It's none of my business. But Brad, obviously, you definitely fit in here. The only reason we picked a $100,000 portfolio, guys, is we were going to do 50 because it was either going to be 50. Maybe I should do 75. Hit 0 and start everything over again and make it 75. The reason we did that is because it kind of seemed right in the middle. We actually have a billionaire at TGO and we have folks with smaller portfolios, so we picked 100. Rod, do you add a separate SPX hedge even when the synthetic stock trade has a hedge put in it? Rod, I don't have a synthetic stock position on SPX, but if you're talking about some of my other positions, Yeah, Rod, when I do synthetic stock or a long call diagonal, I always have protective puts on. I always have protective puts. But those are for those individual positions, Rod. I'm hedging individual positions. If I have disaster puts on Apple, like in this trade, you ready? In this trade on Apple, that's up over 10 grand. I have 5 of the Jan 1980 disaster puts, and I'm long 5 of the Jan 1980 calls. But this is a hedge for Apple. This SPX trade that I just showed you is a hedge against, holy crap, something really bad happening and pulling the S&P 500 down. All these other hedges will kick in too, whoever asked that. That's a great point. So I have little bilge pumps in just about all these positions, guys. Goldman Sachs, show me your 12 grand trade, Wiz. I will. Look at this. I'm selling front month upside calls every week to bring in a nice little car payment, man. So I make money in 2 ways on these long call diagonals. I make money with Goldman Sachs going up, duh, and I make money selling front month upside calls. So I have long calls and disaster puts on Goldman Sachs. So if Goldman Sachs imploded, I have disaster puts to help me out. But look at this, selling this front month upside call, I could potentially make $735 by next Friday. Anybody like making $735 a week? Times 52 weeks and annualize that. That's just the return on selling, on renting out my Goldman Sachs position. What about it doing the hockey stick? Yeah, that's why the trade's up 12 grand in 4 months, folks. 3 grand a month in this trade. So yes, great question. This SPX hedge is an overall market hedge. Okay? Good. Do you plan to not sell Goldman Sachs next week due to the Fed expected announcement next week? No, Rick, I have short calls on Goldman Sachs. I think, if anything, it'll be a little bit of a sell on the news with her raising rates. I don't think the financials will have a rip your face off rally. It's already baked in, guys. When you look at the Fed funds futures rate and it's up to 100%, only an idiot would say she's not raising rates. So Goldman Sachs has already had a little bit of a puff in its sales with her raising rates. We're already looking out to the next Fed meeting, to be honest. This Fed meeting's over with. It hasn't happened yet. Then you got to be here with me to tell you it's already over with, and we're already past it. Okay? Yeah, I'll put the page up again. So folks, the full throttle max for $29.95 is annual. And folks, again, these were screenshots taken from my live trade briefs. These ain't whiz like, these are your members. These are your fellow people let me put this up again. In one trade, guys, we could pay for an entire max membership. I don't want my Cam 2 Studio open. Click that wrong button. So in one trade, guys, 8 grand in 2 weeks. That's almost 2 years of a full throttle max membership. And I'm not even going to tell you how many years $111,000 is on a Goldman Sachs trade. One trade. Mike, I'm up 111 grand on Goldman Sachs. Chuck, I'm up 16 grand. 3 contracts with Chuck. Guys, I would do, and when you sign up next week in your first live trade brief, I'll put on another Goldman Sachs one to fly formation with the new folks. Here's my newest one from a month or 2 ago. It's up $2,800. And again, how many contracts am I doing on that one? I think it's 3. So I did 5 in this one and 3 here. Okay? My max potential loss is only 7 grand. Goldman Sachs ain't going to zero, folks. With 4 people in the cabinet, if Goldman Sachs goes Lehman Brothers or Bear Stearns, the market's at 0. Goldman Sachs ain't going to 0. So I'm okay with risking 3 grand. So for the guy who with the 10 grand portfolio, I showed you some of our returns with guys just trading one contract. One contract of Goldman Sachs, and the guy was up, where was he? Where's the one contract guy? It was like 8 grand. Or maybe it's on my desktop. So, yeah, any portfolio size works, guys. Was it Ted? No. Get me out of the way. That's an ugly looking face. Michelle. Tech. No, 36 grand. Is it this guy? Ron LeDuc. Wiz, thanks for the 36 grand so far this year. Now, whatever, folks. One contract was like 8 or 9 grand. So, and he had only risked like $2,000 on that trade. So for the person with the smaller account, the answer is yes. Cindy, can you pay monthly? Cindy, yes, absolutely. I just covered that. So Cindy, look underneath You see these blue buttons right here? Those are the annual prices. Look under it, Cindy. $195 for defensive a month. $245 for offensive. That means you get weekly options. And if you want the whole kit and caboodle, it's a bottle of, I don't know, Chimney Rock. $295 a month. So, Cindy, look under the blue buttons for your monthly option. The answer is yes. You can pay monthly. So, Cindy, there's your monthly option. Just pick your track, Cindy. I think I've defined them, which track gets what, and it's on the page too. So you can just look there and say, okay, Wiz, this is a monthly track I'm going to do. Okay? Good. Folks, we got 5 minutes left. I'll take questions for 5 more minutes. Yes, I'll cover that in a second, a little bit more oil. Her number, for whoever asked for Annie's number, she's from Brazil. Don't tie up too much of her time asking her questions about Brazil. I know she's young, she's beautiful, she's phenomenal. Don't just call her because you're bored or you're single because, well, I guess you can call her if you're single, but don't. You're welcome, Cindy. 754-300-1084. Or just shoot her an email if you have any questions like, hey, can I do this? Can I do that? Support@topgunoptions.com. And Annie will get back to you. But here's a listing of all the classes that you get to watch. Here's the definition of all the tracks. Everything's on this page, guys. So, yeah, Cindy, grab your monthly slot, either $195, $245, or $295. Obviously, the $295 gets you everything, man. That's what most people do. Or they start with one of these and then end up over here. That's, as you can tell, I'm a shitty salesman. I'd rather be trading, but that's where people end up. That's why we came up with it. They're like, well, can we have, all of this came out of you, out of people before you saying, can we or do you do this? And the answer was, you know what? Yeah, we can. All right, a couple more questions. Telephone number, please. Cindy, you got it, man, right down here. 754-300-1084. Okay. Yes, I do. Well, it depends, Rebecca, on VXX or VIX, which volatility instrument I like to trade. And that literally is probably a 10-hour lecture on which one to do. So sign up, and I'll tell you if we're trading VIX or VXX. By the way, the VXX goes to zero. Take a look at a long-term chart. It will go to zero unless they rebalance it. So I will teach you all of these things. Folks, we've had people here since day one. We've had people here for 7 years. Now, some of you might go, well, they obviously didn't get good training. No, folks, people leave after a year or 2 years and go, Wiz, give me my Top Gun patch. I'm ready to go out to the fleet. You don't stay at Top Gun forever. And I know my marketing people are going to fill up my Skype in a minute because they're listening. Like, don't say that. I know as a businessman, I'd love you here for 7 years. That's not, I'm an ex-military guy, folks. You know what we do? We put the ladder down. You know what, you know what people do on Wall Street? They lift that ladder up, man. I got mine. Let me lift the ladder up and look down. That ain't me, man. I obviously have a house and kids to feed and everything like that. I'd love if you stay here for 7 years. But if in a year from now or 6 months you go, hey, man, I got it. The training's been great. Head out to the fleet because I know you're going to spread the good word. The people that stay here forever love the camaraderie. They love the trade ideas, and it's a great service. So whether you stay here, like a lot of our members, for years, or you cut out after a year of like, I got this, man, just do me a favor and go out and spread the good word for me. And I do get, somebody just gave me a referral. I showed it to you live. I didn't make that up. Who was it? Ted. Thank you for the referral, Ted. Tonight, JD bought one Goldman Sachs 165 straight contract at 24.48. It's now at 93.85. Nice job, JD. Well done, man. So, all right, guys, 2 minutes left. I'm not going to bore you. There's a couple other questions. I'm getting tired. My daughter's home because my 2 boys, my middle and oldest, have to go to hockey practice, so I'm going to go hang out with my daughter and sit out back and have a glass of wine and take a look at all the intel I got to look at for tomorrow. What's going to be going on tomorrow morning. Make sure you sign up for my sit rep. Even if you don't sign up today, grab the sit rep, man. It's free. It's in the chat box. Get my daily video until you're ready to maybe become a member. Just feel me out some more. I got to be honest with you, folks. If you're not ready to sign up right now, and $195 is a lot of money, don't sign up. You won't kind of fit in here. So there's the sit rep. I briefed you on that. There's your full throttle slot. Here's the replay page. I'm going to render this, and I'm going to put this up on the replay page, all right? Give me a little bit, probably my second glass of wine, and then we'll be good to go. Harry, I can also attest to the value of your service, Wiz. I paid for my subscription with the first trade. Harry, thank you for saying that. JD, subscription is worth it. Thanks, guys. Look at that. I tell my members not to come so it doesn't get too busy in here, and they come in anyway and they give me compliments. JD, I was skeptical, but trust me, he knows what he's doing and he will make money. JD, man. And Harry, I'm going to steal these. So again, guys, these are, if you're new, these are unsolicited testimonials, and you can see these, right? I'll put JD on this one, JD. Thanks, guys. So can you see this on my screen? Because now you can. So that's what JD just said, and that's what my chat box looks like, guys. So those are unsolicited testimonials. I appreciate that, guys. I hate doing the testimonial thing on slides because it's like, the value, I shouldn't have had to do any of these to say other people like it, and that's actually, if Annie's number is busy, it spills over to my office line. So if people are calling in to grab their slot, that's great. But all she's going to do, folks, if you're calling to ask her to grab a slot, she's probably just going to fill this page out for you, which doesn't make sense. So, all right, guys, can you put link to reply on chat box? What do you mean, Phil? Which link to reply? JD, I left another service to sign up here. Oh, it shall remain nameless. You don't need to tell me who you left, but I appreciate that. A lot of people do the old, you know what, Wiz? I'm pissed I did not find you sooner. Here is the link to the replay page. It's pretty easy. It's up there, but there's the replay page. Before the replay gets posted, for me rambling right now, watch the video that's on there because I go through the urgent alert portfolio. Hurry up and watch this replay, guys. So let me get going so you guys can buy and watch this video on this page. This was the real one I sent out today to my members. So you'll watch this one free, and then I'll put this one up later. If you want to grab your full throttle slot, you can just click on that button, and it just simply takes you to that page, okay? So, all right, guys, I got to go. I went 2 minutes longer, which means I owe everybody in here a shot. I owe you 2 shots. I like staying right on time. Right, Keely Grace? All right, guys, I got to go. Going to spend time with my beautiful daughter. Have a great rest of your night. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. Make sure you hedge. That's just not a glib sign-off for me. That's the truth. Happy hunting. Go out there and let's do some good hunting. Hedge, or you're going to be so sorry, man. Trust me. A broken clock's right twice a day, but I'm going to be right on this. Something's going to pull us back, folks, and you need an ejection seat. Get on board TGO either with a monthly or annual subscription, and we're going to have a blast. As you can tell, the members who joined me today giving me a little bit of wind in my sails. I appreciate that, guys. For all the new folks, grab your slot. Annual in the box or the monthly with the hyperlink underneath the box, okay? And finally, I'll sign off with, if you need to give Miss Annie a call, 754-300-1084 or support@topgunoptions.com. All right, guys. Bye. Have a great rest of your night, and welcome aboard. As I can see my phone buzzing, that a couple of you have already grabbed your slots. So I appreciate that, and welcome aboard to all my new members. Have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. We'll see you.